Hello, hello. My name is Nobody, and welcome to another video in this Guide for Beginners series. Throughout the series, I'll be explaining what goes through my mind as an intermediate player to help beginners have an easier time learning this game. Today, I will be showing you how to defend a tower rush and how to effectively raid with knights. I am playing over here as the left, in green as the Franks. And on this right side, I will be playing Guidetti, playing as the Incas. So the first thing that I think of when I start a game is thinking about the civ matchup. So let's go into the tech tree. Franks are a cavalry civilization. Their cavalry have plus 20% hit points, and their knights have plus 2 line of sight, making their knights very, very good, even some of the best in the game. And they have also a very good scout rush since their scouts start with extra health. They have some forager bonus and their castle bonus, and also their farm upgrades are free. And their unique unit is the throwing axeman, which is a short-range infantry. The other bonuses won't really become relevant this game. So very, very good cavalry. Definitely would recommend them to newer players who are trying to get more experience in cavalry-based gameplay. Let's go over to Guidetti, playing as the Incas. Start with the free llama and house the support 10 population, which are very nice early game economy bonuses. Villages are affected by blacksmith upgrades, which can be used offensively for a tower rush by giving them a little more bulk, or defensively to prevent them from dying from like archers or other kinds of raids. Their buildings cost less stone, which is again good for a tower rush, or defensive towers or castles. Their unique unit is the Kamyuk, which is an anti-cavalry infantry, kind of like a Haub. And their other unique unit is the Slinger, which is an anti-infantry archer. And these other bonuses we won't see this game. No cavalry, of course, for the Incas, so very different civilization than the Franks. Incas, I think, have a little bit better early game, just because of all those early game bonuses. I'll have a very nice scout rush, if I choose to go into it, and a knight rush, which should be very strong. However, I think going into the later game, the Incas should have the advantage, since they have the Kamyuk, which counters cavalry, which is my civ strength. And they have the Slinger, which counters my unique unit, the throwing axeman. So I don't want this game to get too late, and I don't want him to get castles out. Let's go over to my point of view, because my point of view will influence my strategy and what I'm thinking about doing. I see my 2 lumber lines over here, placing this lumber right in this little nook over here. Back gold over here, and a back gold is very good for a Dark Age rush, so I could be considering that right now. You want the gold in the back for a Dark Age rush because oftentimes players like to transition to archers, and to go into archers you need to save gold. However, since I think the Franks are such a good cavalry civ, and that their scouts have extra health, including my starting one, I think I'll go for a scout rush over the Dark Age rush. And right now I'm looking for the rest of my sheep. I've already found 6 out of my 8 sheep. Found both my boar, and found the gold and side stones. I'm also looking at places to wall. I could wall on this right side, wall through here, and wall through here. Whether or not you like walling, it is very important in Age of Empires and a very important skill to cultivate. And just going through the build of a scout rush right now, 6 on sheep is standard. I've even put a 7th at this point. And 3 on wood. 4 on wood for a Dark Age rush, but scout rush 3. And I'm trying to finish up as much of the sheep as I can before I kill this boar here, so none of the meat rots away. And now I'm going to send 4 onto berries. Never want to put more than 4 on berries. And starting this house over here, maybe I'm thinking about walling in through this way. I'm going to finish up the sheep here, and then I'm going to move on to the boar so none of the food rots away. I'm going to speed up the game just a little bit here. Scouting in the back over here, looking for my 2 sheep. I actually didn't find these sheep this game, but I chose not to scout the entirety of my whole map, like all these little black spaces, because I know it's important to scout my opponent's map. And Guidetti's already scouting my base at this point, which is why his score is a bit higher. Scouting goes into score. Just bringing my scout back. Hopefully I can bring a villager in and catch him off guard, get a few free hits with the villager. However, since he's a good player, that's not going to really work on him. And I'll have to retreat with my scout, since the Eagle Scout is a little bit stronger. building a house here just to start my wall up over here. You usually want to include other buildings in your wall. They do have a little more health, and you're going to use them anyway. And just finishing up this boar as I bring this this boar in. Unfortunately, losing a villager here goes to show you this game isn't perfect. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this series is not to show like tutorials, or I think they're a little too synthetic. That you're never going to see that in a multiplayer game, since the tutorials are all such clean builds. I wanted to show you something that's more realistic in-game, where you have adaptation and strategy and such, and even mistakes by myself and how I adapt to those. Losing a villager this early in the game, a very bad start. It's a very bad thing, since you lose all the working time from that villager. So right now I'm going out to scout my opponent. As you can see, not the best scouting for me. Pretty late moving out, since I did have that scuffle with the Eagle Warrior. And moving in the wrong direction pretty much into this area. Although that's not really myself to blame, it's just the map generation. Usually expect the opponent to be right opposite from your base. So just continuing my build, two farms for the scout build. Put the rest on these food on these sheep here. And should be clicking up right after loom. Guidetti's found my sheep for me, which is very nice of him. And as you can see, Guidetti's not going for a standard Dark Age rush, which is normal for the Incas. Instead, he's chosen to go for a tower rush to use some of those benefits that the Incas get that we talked about earlier. The cheaper buildings and maybe even the blacksmith upgrades on them. So I'll have to be prepared for the tower rush. However, I have not scouted this at this moment, because my scouting has been so poor. And one of the keys to stopping a tower rush is, of course, scouting out the tower rush. And here he goes with 5 villagers. I'm going up to the feudal age now. I'm still planning on a scout build, remember, at this point, because I've not seen his villagers come forward. So I'm just trying to get as much wood as I can from these straggler trees to build my barracks and my stable. I'll need quite a bit for that. Over 300. And then after this wood has run out, I'll probably build a second lumber camp over here. Assuming I were to continue with this build. Guidetti's moved out over here. The most important part about a tower rush is the first tower. The first tower is not the tower that is meant to do a lot of damage. It's the second tower that does the damage. But the first tower gives you a nice foothold, and it should be a surprise. So let's see where Guidetti puts his first tower. And he's putting it over here. And I think this is a bit of a misplay from him. Not only is he only building it with 3 villagers at this point, it's also a clear view of me. So I'm going to choose to build my own counter tower right over here, which I know I can get up sooner than him, since I see only 3 villagers on here. And finally I've scouted the stone, but it's a little bit late since I already see the tower coming up. And he's even building a second tower over here. I'm just going to bring my scout back to maybe hit some of these villagers to delay the tower going up. There's my barracks. And I've chosen to go for a mining camp instead of that stable I originally planned on, since I see this tower rush coming out. One of the ways to defend a tower rush is to mine stone yourself, so you can place counter towers to prevent damage from being done. However, this tower has done some damage, and he's taken me off of this wood line, so I need to take the wood on the back over here. And it'll be quite a while before I can get the wood for a stable. I do expect to win this tower battle here. I could reinforce with all these nice healthy villagers over here, and he's got only these 5 villagers to work with to repair the tower up. So I can lose a little bit of health on this guy, and then move her back. And he can repair this, but I can target that down, and eventually he won't have any villagers on full HP to repair the tower with. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit of a tower battle here. I'm just gathering the wood to build a stable, that's what I'm thinking in my mind. Repairing the tower, sending the weak ones back, trying not to lose any. And eventually I'll win this. As long as I keep targeting the villagers. So I see this tower out over here. I know these villagers are quite weak, so I'm just going to target down this villager. And then target down the second villager. So villager count even at this point. I did lose 2, I think, at this point. But now these villagers getting stuck. And he does something which is very smart here, which is put up a wall right here to get some extra hits on the villager here. And he does take one down. The one villager lead for him right now. However, I am producing scouts, I'll have some map control and some mobile military. Again, one of the goals of the Tower Rush is to take your opponent off of resources, either wood or gold or stone. My map's not the best map for a Tower Rush because I have my stone over here and also a back stone over here, and my gold is nice and safe. However, he did target this wood line, so did do damage there, and I'm not paying attention to my idols. I have 9 idols right now. Not something you ever want. But score's still pretty close, still very close game now. Especially since I'm building these scouts, which can do some damage. So I'm thinking that Guidetti's Tower Rush is fading out at this point, and I still have a mining camp with some villagers taking stone, and I've also scouted his base over here, seeing kind of an error, putting 4 farms over on this mill, and his gold is forward. Usually you want the farms around the town center, of course. And I'm just going to go counter Tower Rushing with a few villagers over here, hopefully taking him off these farms and off this gold. Building another tower here, making sure that I don't take from this wood line over here. And here my villagers come in. This tower should be secret, which is what I want. And this is the smartest tower of the game, and the most devastating to me. He places one right in this nook over here, take me off this wood, and this tower should take me off of this wood, and my other closest wood is over here. And that'll be such a huge hit to my economy if I had to take that. Not to mention it's exposed. So here comes that tower over here. And just out of line of sight, which is what I wanted, even if this farmer does come over. And my scouts should be able to support it. Taking too much stone right now. That's Guidetti's stone. He has way too much stone. And I'm taking too much at this point right now. I'm placing my farms in the back just in case more towers were to come in through this way. And there are those 2 very nice towers over here. Already with fletching. Fletching very important. And it's one of the reasons why I don't get this tower up over here, because this tower has the extra range. So I do need to delete that. Here's this tower going up over here, taking them off with this gold, and now I can target these farms. And this is some mismicro by me running under the town center. I know how important this wood line is to me, so I wouldn't mind sacrificing a villager or 2 to get this tower up to battle his tower. But one thing I didn't take into account was fletching, and I was nowhere near getting a blacksmith and fletching out. So I don't think I ever took down this tower. And again, taking too much stone. Third tower coming up over here. We'll definitely take him off these farms, leaving him only with 5 left. And again, some more mismicro with my scouts. They should probably be on stand ground at this point, since I should be controlling every single action of them, or at least on defensive. But sometimes on defensive they can run around too. And here's my villagers migrating over to this wood line over here. Very hard for me to win this tower battle because I don't have that fletching. Guidetti's now placing a counter tower here. This will prevent me from moving on this way and taking him off this stone. I'm going to speed up this game just a bit. I'm going to wall up these towers since I think they're pretty important. Or at least this one. So he doesn't bash them down. And over in my base I'm thinking about Castle Age because the Franks do get those strong knights. And I don't think I can do too much more damage to him in Feudal Age. He's building more archers now. May delay him a little bit. Okay, now taking this wood over here. I have all that extra stone. I'm going to place it in some towers right now. 2 towers over on this gold, so he can't harass this gold at all, and I will wall through here, so he can't pass through and hit the farmers. And 1 tower over here, because I have seen his archers. No reason not to place any towers at this point. It's better to be safe than sorry. And again, still not winning this tower battle, which neither is he, because he's attacking this house now. So, about to click up at this moment, and I'll be going into knights as the Franks. And walling in through here so archers can't sneak around. Going up to the next stage, going to get all my blacksmith upgrades for my knights. Building my 2 stables. Wood is very valuable to me right now, because I don't have a lot on wood right now, and it's very exposed. And here he comes with some archers and 2 spearmen. Or it looks like 1 spearman. Now upgraded crossbow. He did get up earlier than me, so I was wrong about that. Sees the tower and he's going to move back. And there's really not much for him to hit over here with my 2 towers, but I don't think he scouted that at this point. Now moving back to my base, I'm not sure why. And a 2nd tower to help defend this woodline. Castle coming up now for Guidetti. It's not a bad castle, it should take out my town center. And be a good pushing point if he wants to push with army into through here. So I would say it's a pretty good castle, actually. Archers and a spearman coming in now. Just moving past. And he's going to sit in at the base here since I haven't noticed at this point. And unfortunately, again, no fletching. Can't hit these archers right now. I think fletching would have been very valuable to me, but I was cutting resources so thin with building these knights. Which now have a chain barding on them. But idling my wood line right now, and I only have 50 wood at this point, so I need to take care of this. So even though not the most effective tower, it definitely did its damage, especially to my wood economy. Wood probably the most important resource in Age of Empires. And I could just clean this up with knights with +2. The +2 is so important against crossbows. And of course getting that extra health from the Franks, as well as line of sight. Let's see what Guidetti's doing in his base. He's got up to 2 town centers, I believe. Has his castle in the front mining my gold. So building a villager lead right now and building an economy lead. And even very smart, getting one of the armor upgrades for his villagers. Me, right now, I'm just thinking about how to pump knights out as fast as they can. I'm not even thinking about economy right now. And I'm low on wood, which means I'm low on food. Although my gold economy is pretty good. So just trying to pump the villagers out right now. Pump the knights out. And sending these idle guys, instead of having them idle over here on the farms, I'm going to send them to wood over here. Here comes my first few knights. Let's see what I see. 2 archers over here. I don't want to chase them because I don't want to go into the town center. But I do want to get some free villager kills over here. And actually that armor being very valuable, it'll take an extra hit for my knights to kill the villagers because of that. And 2 spearmen's enough to chase me away for now. Except I think I'll take them on this downhill over here. Of course the hill is a 50% attack advantage. And just pumping more knights from me right now. He is 500 points ahead in the score, so I know his economy is much stronger than I have at the moment. So I don't think I will try to catch up in economy at this point. I think I'll try to raid him as much as possible and maybe catch his army out. If I try to catch up in economy by building town centers on my own, then I will take this game into a late game. And he's already got his castle up. He can make Kameyuks at this point to counter my cavalry, so I don't want to take this into late game either. So I'm just focused on doing as much damage as I can right now. This knight's going in over here. I'm keeping a close eye to see if he garrisons in the town center. As soon as he garrisons, then I will leave with my knight. But since he has not done that, I'll just take these free picks over here. Monk is over here. Luckily, I was close enough to the monk in order to engage it without losing a knight. And trying to get more picks with each of these guys. Each set of knights that comes out is control grouped. So I can go back and forth between this set of knights, this guy over here, and then these knights coming in. And then the new knights, as soon as they come out, will be control grouped as well. Usually I'm only using about 3 control groups at a time. And trying to add units into the old control group so I don't have to remember new ones. And 2 monks, very scary. You can get very nice, they're very cost efficient is what I'm trying to say. If they do get a conversion, and they can reconvert later. And again, this knight, not just doing so much damage, he hasn't seen it under this town center. I'm trying to save each knight. Looks like this guy gets away. And I wanted to make sure I killed that villager before I left with that knight. So pretty effective rating so far. Still 500 points in the lead from him, just because he does have so many more villagers than me. And he is making his unique unit, the Kamiyuk, right now, which counters cavalry. Pretty well, actually. I know I'm on the offensive, so I think I can afford to place these exposed farms over here. And I placed this castle in place of my town center right now. Right now on 0 town centers, which shows you how much I care about my economy at this point. It's all about doing damage to him. And I've even purposely built the scout right now, just to take care of his monks, in case I get a good monk pick. Scouts have a resistance bonus, and they resist conversion themselves. Yeah, that's what I just said. And they resist conversion themselves, and they get an attack bonus versus monks, which is what I meant to say. So no economy. I'm not going to bother to save up for another town center. It's 275 wood, and I'd have to mine some stone over here. So I'm just trying to build as many knights as I can. And right now he has quite a significant advantage since I'm on no town centers. I'm going to keep an eye on these knights over here, since this is the focal point of the game. 4 Kamiyuks coming out shouldn't be enough to deal with this large amount of knights. Scouting around with the scout, seeing if I can't find the monks. They are my biggest threat. They're over here right now. And I need to make so much use of this army. They really need to get so many villager kills, because I'm falling more and more behind. It's 0 town centers versus 3 right now. And my economy won't be building any, basically any time this game, as long as I have that 0 town centers. But I can't come under here, and I think I can take out the town center if I have a few more knights and he loses his army somehow. This is a very effective knight raid. He was a little late to garrison his villagers. But as soon as they go in the town center, I can either leave, or I think I can engage this right now, because I see his army is under these towers. And I have no idea why he got reverted, redemption on these monks, but this actually worked out pretty well for him. However, he is sacrificing his town center over here. Getting 2 tower conversions. I've never seen that in a game before. And all the wood I'm getting right now just sinking into farms instead of a town center. Farms and gold is the only thing I need. So that's a big blow to his economy. That's about maybe a fourth of his economy over there. But still heavily down right now. Should rebuild this lumber camp over here. A lot of farms. He can definitely build some more military at this point. And he's building Kamiyuks as fast as he can. Doesn't have his Kamiyuks over here at this point, so I'm just going to kill as much of his archers as he can. And as soon as I know I killed all of his army, there's really no reason for me not to just send all my knights into here. As soon as Guidetti stabilizes, he should be heavily in the lead in this game. But if he can't stabilize and I can keep getting villager kills, I can win this game here. And I'm just looking at each of these knights. I see these villagers retreating, so I'm gonna go try to kill them. And this town center is full at the moment, so I get these free villager kills. He needs a much bigger mass of Kamyuks at this point. Maybe should be thinking about going into pikemen, since he does have a bit of food economy. And this is really how you effectively raid with knights. You just get right under the town centers and take them and take the villagers out from under them. As soon as the Kamyuk comes out, I'm sure to focus that one down first. I can't focus on the villagers if I have army attacking my knights. And I'm just trying to overwhelm them at this point. More and more knights coming out. Score now 200 behind at this point. And you can see how effective these Kamyuks are against these knights. However, they are quite slow, so I'm trying to run around them as much as I can. And too much food in the bank for me right now. I need to be mining a little bit more gold, which is why I put this mining camp over here. As long as I can keep his economy idle, that means he can't pump out that many more Kamyuks, which is my goal. As soon as he can't pump out Kamyuks, I've won this game. And if the town center is full, you definitely want to move the knights back. Speed up this game just a little bit. Again, trying to kill the military as they come out. What he should be doing is he should be building quite a massive military. And now I'm building the throwing axeman, which is very good against infantry type units. And I hope it'll be good against the Kamyuk, but unfortunately taking a bit of arrow fire here. Going through this way. Let's look at the population difference. So only 42 for him right now. I didn't know he was so low. So you can see how effective these knights raids were. How could he have defended against this? Could have walled in through here. Walling does help stop the raiding. Could have microed his monks a little better. Could have had more monks. Monks are probably the best counter to knights. And could have masked up his Kamyuk a bit instead of sending them out one by one. And paid more attention to his town centers, make sure they were garrisoned if my knights were under them. I'm just going to speed this game up, just still more knight raiding. 3 Kamyuks over here, I'm going to try to run around them, let my throwing axeman do some work. He wasn't up to the task. And now I can just run these guys around through this way. And hopefully avoid these Kamyuks. I see I have so many more knights than these guys, so I'll take the engagement here. And I feel like I've left this part of his economy alone for a little bit too long, so I'm going to send the knights over this way. And now sending the throwing axeman behind this wood line over here. And at this point, I know I'm actually the score lane's pretty much the same. I'm not sure why. But I know at this point I could even run into this town center, even though they will be taking a bit of castle fire and from the Kamyuks. Because I think that his economy is just so fragile at this point. Even if I lose a few knights over here, I'll still be in the lead. Still no town centers for me. and scouting out each corner of the map, making sure he doesn't have any sneaky town centers. Here's that big massive Kamiyukin pikeman I was talking about earlier. And he should get this section of his economy rolling again, as well as this section over here. So I was a little bit worried at this point that he would stabilize on this side, and could get both these town centers working again, and stabilize on this side as well. As you can see now, he's starting to stabilize on this side. And he's back in the score lead again. I'm not going to let all these throwing X-Men die for nothing, so I'm going to engage with these knights anyway. Even if I'm not sure they'll win this fight. And it sure wasn't cost-effective, but I did win the fight anyway with more units, and I can still do some damage with these guys. So I can go back and hit his economy again and idle it again, and if I do, then he shouldn't be able to make any more pikemen or cameo as before. So that's why I did take that fight. And you can see how much the throwing axemen did help out, and there's the GG. So I hope you guys learned something from this game. This game definitely wasn't a tutorial on how to manage your economy. More so on how to adjust your strategy if you see a tower rush, or how to effectively raid with knights, getting under town centers, avoiding monks, avoiding the pikemen unless they and the Kamiyuks unless they're in small numbers, and try to keep his economy as idle as possible, and running away if the town centers are garrisoned. So I hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, please leave a little like. Also, a little bit of feedback in the comments as to what kind of videos you'd like to see. And I'll see you guys next time.